You know that feeling when you order a cheap, plug-and-play security camera on impulse, set it up, and then realize the footage looks like a grainy nighttime TV static. I've seen that happen a lot, and it usually ends with a regretful return or a second, more expensive purchase. That's why I wanted to dig into whether a higher-priced, full-system option actually feels like a smarter buy before you spend a weekend wiring and configuring everything. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When you're standing in the middle of a property trying to decide between a single budget bullet and a full-blown NVR rig, the hesitation is real. You worry about a system that promises 4K, but actually gives you a blurry mess. You worry about night vision that turns everything into a monochrome silhouette. And you worry about storage that fills up before you even get a week of footage. Those are the exact concerns that keep most buyers up at night, and they are the ones that should drive your decision-making process. The Lorex NC4K8MV 3228WB is pitched as a premium, 4K smart security suite. It comes with an NVR that can handle up to 32 cameras, a built-in 8TB hard drive, and 28 motorized bullet cameras that each offer 8MP resolution and a 4 optical zoom. On paper, it sounds like a lot of power, but the real question is how that power translates into everyday peace of mind. First, let's talk about what matters most in a surveillance setup: clarity, reliability, and how easy it is to actually use the system once it's installed. The cameras in this kit have a motorized lens that can zoom in without losing focus, which is a genuine advantage when you need to identify a license plate or read a delivery slip at the gate. In my research, I found that most hobbyist systems stop at digital zoom, which just enlarges pixels and makes the image noisier. Lorex's optical zoom keeps the 4K sensor's detail intact, so you can actually pull a clear still from a live feed without resorting to third-party software. Low light performance is another make-or-break factor. Many entry-level cameras advertise infrared night vision, but what you get is a monochrome, almost black and white image that can't tell you whether the person in the yard is wearing a white shirt or a dark hoodie. Lorex advertises color night vision out to 150 feet, which means the camera's sensor can capture true color even under the infrared LEDs. In a real-world scenario, say you're checking the driveway at 2 a.m., that color information can be the difference between spotting a familiar neighbor's car and mistaking a delivery driver for a stranger. Ease of use is often the hidden cost of any high-resolution system. The NVR runs a web-based interface and a mobile app called Lorex Cloud. Setting it up isn't as simple as plugging a single Wi-Fi camera into a power outlet, but it's also not a full-blown IT deployment. You'll need to run Ethernet cables to each camera, which can be a weekend's work depending on how many points you want to cover. Once the cables are in place, the NVR automatically discovers the cameras, and the app walks you through naming each feed, adjusting motion zones, and setting recording schedules. I found that the menu hierarchy is fairly logical. The most common settings like enabling color night vision or adjusting the zoom preset are on the main dashboard, while advanced options such as bitrate control sit a few taps deeper. That separation keeps the day-to-day operation from feeling like a tech support call, but it does mean you'll need to spend a little time at the start to understand where the deeper knobs live. Because the cameras are wired, there's no battery anxiety to worry about. They draw power over the same Ethernet cable that carries the video, PO, which eliminates the need for separate power adapters and reduces points of failure. The downside is that you're locked into a fixed location. If you ever want to reposition a camera, you'll need to reroute the cable or use a PO injector elsewhere. For most permanent installations, that's acceptable, but if you rent a home and can't run new wiring, this system isn't the best fit. Storage is often a silent pain point. An 8TB drive can hold a lot of 4K footage, especially if you enable motion-triggered recording instead of constant streaming. In practical terms, a typical 4K camera at 30 frames per second uses roughly 40 GB per hour when recording continuously. With motion detection, You can cut that down dramatically, maybe to 510 gigabytes per hour per active camera. Given the 28 cameras in the kit, you could realistically store a week's worth of motion-only video without worrying about the drive filling up. The NVR also supports backup to external USB drives, so you can archive critical events without touching the main storage pool. Now, who should actually consider spending on a system like this? If you run a small business, say a boutique storefront, a warehouse, or a multi-unit.